Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Saturday to you. Welcome to the Actors Area. I'm your host, Sean Grant. It's been a minute here since I did an episode for the Actors Area, but I'm happy to be back. Happy and excited, as always, to be with you and to basically go on this journey of discovering ways to help you, enable you to be a better actor, actress, performer, both, whatever it is of your choosing. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I was just thinking about acting here the last few days. And the one thing that I love about it is that with so many careers, there comes an expiration date where you have to say, okay, it's been a fun ride, but it's time for me to move on now. And with acting, it's just not the case. It's just not the case. And I love that because acting is like that lover that says, I will wait for you whenever you're ready, whenever you are feeling the moment is right. I am here for you, right? I was reading this acting coach is Wendy Braun, I think her name is. And she was talking about how she had this client who had basically put her acting career off for 15 years. Okay? That's a long time, 15 years. And she had lost all her confidence, and she basically just kind of wrapped it up. That was a wrap for her, as they say at the end of every production. And she didn't think that she was ever going to do anything, but that desire was always tugging at her. It was always wanting to lead her back. And she would say, every time I watched the show, I just dreamt about what could have been, what should have been, but life sort of got in the way. And I used to think that, but now because I have such a developed high trusting in life and how it works, I never feel like life can get in the way of anything. Life is the way, right? And life takes us to where we need to go in order to refine the desires that we have. And so for this particular lady, gone out of acting for 15 years, she comes back, she taps into the desire, into the joy that once was for her to act, and she winds up booking a featured spot on a Netflix show, one of the most popular Netflix show. The name escapes me at the moment, but it was just an amazing story because here's a story that tells you that it's never too late, right? It's never too late. I can remember when I started back, I think in 2004, I took my first acting class, and then I really started getting into it professionally in 2007. And the most amazing thing is I wanted to get everything done. I wanted all the roles immediately. I wanted every single role immediately, but that just wasn't realistic. And what I found over the years is that, oftentimes in my experience, each role was a gift from life for me to learn more about myself, right? And it was such a beautiful balance of give and take that I began to look at it as, okay, you know what? This is something that's going to be in my life for the rest of my life. I was fortunate enough to start as a young man, only 26 years old. I'm 38 now. I've had multiple opportunities to experience acting on any level you can think of. The most low budget show to the most, high budget show working for Universal, and in between, and commercials and media and stuff like that. So, not to brag, but all I'm saying is that I've been able to be blessed to watch all these things come in. And the one truth that always sticks with me is that it's never too late. You know, it's never too late. I think we often get into this business thinking that everything needs to happen now. Everything needs to happen now. You know, when in actuality, there could be a chance that you're like Morgan Freeman, where you start acting in your 20s, but you don't necessarily become a household name or famous until you're like 50. Now, hopefully that's not the case for anybody, but if it is, you know, as long as that love is there, you will reach your goal. And also, as long as that desire is there, that will happen for you. And that's what counts. It's not comparing yourself. You know, because once we start getting into limitations about what we can and can't do, then we find ourselves basically blocking us from all the goodness that is a success in the entertainment industry. And, you know, you never know what life has in store. So many producers now in Hollywood, and even like surrounding areas of Hollywood, I've met a lot of them, you know, started out as actors, but then all of a sudden they evolved into casting, they evolved into producing, they evolved into being a director, and doing all of them, you know, when the opportunity presented. So the biggest thing is just to align with where the soul is taking you in this arena, right? And it could still be acting for a lot of people. That's what's neat about it, is that there's so much to do in this industry. But I urge you to be open and to realize that it's never too late, because life always has your best interest at heart, right? Life always has your best interest at heart. So as an actor, it's up to you to be as open and submissive and willing as possible to find yourself in the greatest position possible to recognize the dream that you desire to see, or the dream that's even better that life has planned. Okay? And so, once again, patience. Patience becomes key here, because we never want to get too far ahead of ourselves, especially if something is brewing, a life-changing opportunity is brewing. Take you to Jason Bateman. So if you remember, Jason Bateman was on, I think he did Teen Wolf 2. He was on a couple of, I think he might even replace Michael J. Fox on Family Ties. I'm not sure about that, but I do remember him in the 80s. Being a familiar face in film and television. And then all of a sudden, he kind of disappeared. You know, he went, I don't want to say into obscurity, but he wasn't in the necessarily limelight, right? Another guy, John Cryer as well. These are like amazing stories about how actors pop onto the scene. They have so much success, and then all of a sudden, they seemingly disappear. They disappear from the public eye, that is. And then all of a sudden, they thrust back onto the scene. And the same thing happened for Jason Bateman. I think when he was in Hancock, and I think also Arrested Development. John Cryer now, you know, he was a big 80s guy. You know, you see him in all the movies. Comes back on the scene. 2.5 Men did amazing there. Now he's playing Lex Luthor on Supergirl, and what you see is these guys have reinvented themselves as actors as life has progressed, right? And that's kind of what you have to do. And it just makes me think, like, I never get so caught up in thinking I have to book something now, because I'm 38 right now. Let's say my role that is truly meant for me won't be ready until I'm 44, 45 years old, right? Because I have to be let's say, a dad by then, or I have to experience some form of life in order to really tap into this role properly, right? And life knows that I'm all about being authentic and organic to my performance. So it may be waiting for that time for me to do so. In the meantime, yeah, there'll be other roles, there'll be other opportunities, there'll be other ways to grow and experience life in a joyful way. But as long as I'm patient, and this could happen when I'm 40, it can happen next year when I'm 39. I don't know, but I'm patient and I'm realizing that it's never too late. There's not a race against time when it comes to acting. It's not like I got to get my career together before I hit 35 because, then there won't be anything left. No, TV is everywhere. Film is everywhere. Theater is everywhere, right? So you always have that option to dive right back into it when the time is right. And that's the biggest thing, is that the time is right. The time is right. When the time is right, you will know. And when you know, you'll dive in and all the stars will align for you. And that will enable you to be the very best that you can be in every situation as it relates to your acting career. So before I go, I just want you to know, be patient with yourself. It's never too late. Things happen at the perfect time, and everything will work out for you as an actor, an actress, or performer, and in life. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. Always a pleasure. Take care. Talk soon.